Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Lily OBriens has been a leading Irish player in the chocolate sector for over 25 years. But with a new ownership structure in place, what is next for one of the country's greatest success stories? My final guest this morning is the CEO of Lily OBriens, Eoin Donnelly. Eoin, Lily OBriens has been in existence since 1992, but how did the now famous chocolates come to fruition?
Morning, Carl. Delighted to be here. That was well before my time when it started up. It was 1992, as you say, and it was started by Mary Ann O'Brien, the senator there from a few years ago. And Mary Ann was on holidays one year out in South Africa and went to grab a chess set to bring out to play chess by the pool, only to find it was made from chocolate. And she spent the rest of her holiday in looking at how to make chocolate, came back and grew the business from there. Now, literally grew it. It was herself and her daughter Lily, hence the name Lily OBriens. It was literally herself going to farmers markets to begin with. And eventually she got her first big contract with Fergal Quinn for Super Quinn, and then grew it from there to the size it is now today.
So fast forward 27 years, talk to me about the current scale which the company enjoys and the global markets which it now serves.
So the business at this stage, we're over 30 million turnover, and we are mainly export, so 75% export. Export to the UK, which is our primary market, but also the USA, Australia, out to the far east, around the Nordic countries. What you would say also is we service a number of different channels, so retail channels, as you would expect, but also food service and airline industry. So on any given day, I think at the moment we're flying on about 21 different airlines at the moment. Wow. And that would be in all various different categories, because we have our chocolates, which people would be very familiar with, but we also have pot desserts that appear on the airlines.
And what have been the factors which has enabled Lily OBriens to enjoy such levels of success over such a sustained period of time?
Well, first and foremost in the beginning would have been Mary Ann O'Brien herself, the entrepreneur that she was and is. She also was quite good at picking the right people. We say internally that people are our greatest ingredient, and the attitude that they bring, very much a can-do, will-do attitude, and that brings us to the product, which obviously it's the people who put the product together. The product is a winner in that it's premium chocolate, and we're always happy to go for the old Pepsi challenge, taste challenge at any stage with anyone on that. But it's the product itself finally, but definitely Mary Ann and the team that got us there.
Now, Eoin, we're a nation of chocolate lovers, but we probably don't have much knowledge about the business of making chocolate. So what insights can you provide us with about this particular sector?
First and foremost, you'll be looking at the appearance of the chocolate, the sound, so the snap of the chocolate itself, obviously the taste, both taste at the beginning, but taste at the end, and then textures and fillings as well. The chocolate itself, obviously, comes from cocoa bean, and the main types of chocolate, milk, dark and white. A very frequent occasion where we will be tasting either chocolate or caramel or various different things. So we've got quite sweet teeth, I would say, in Lily OBriens.
And even though Lily OBriens is an established brand, chocolate is a very competitive space. So in terms of new product development and innovation, how does the creative team source new ideas?
Well, we've got an R&D team first and foremost, and they work at looking at the globe. But as I say, our people being our greatest ingredient, they actually, anything they see elsewhere, whether it be on business or on vacation, that they see as an idea, not just in the chocolate sector. So this could be anything from packaging, but also various different trends. And then we have a new product development team that work, cross-functional team, that work on everything, making sure we go through a full stage gate process to deliver what will be fabulous chocolates at the end of the day.
And what are the current and future trends in chocolate?
It's going to depend very much on what market you're in. Because we service the international market, the most advanced trends would be on the west coast of the States. So out there, they'd be looking very much at flavour profiles. The more exotic the flavour, the better. And whereas we are quite used to salted caramel, for instance, in this part of the world now at this stage. But if I go back 10 years, people here wouldn't eat salted caramel at all, where it was an established trend out there. So exotic trends, smoked bacon type with the salt hit in the chocolate would be out in the States at this stage. Then as you come back more towards towards Ireland and indeed the UK, you're looking at more sustainability pieces. So whether that be in terms of the product itself, or indeed the packaging, or indeed the way you produce.
In an era where health is number one in people's lives, what are your thoughts in terms of their outlook towards calories?
What we'd always say is it's going to be a balanced lifestyle is what you're looking at. I don't think that there's anyone who eats premium chocolate who doesn't realise that it is an indulgence. It's something that is as a treat or for occasions, whether they be Valentine's Day or Mother's Day, as Mother's Day is coming up at the moment. But it is all part of a balanced lifestyle.
Now, if you've just tuned in, I'm speaking to the Managing Director of Lily OBriens, Eoin Donnelly. Eoin, from a marketing perspective, what channels are most effective for the company? And remind us about some of your most successful promotional campaigns.
Okay, we focus our above-the-line spend on TV, digital advertising, video content, and then social as well. Social will be quite important, everything from Facebook to Instagram and so forth. We have influencers as well. So at the moment we've got Vogue Williams, who very kindly is an influencer for us. And then in the UK we also have a lady by the name of Alice Levine, who you may well know. In terms of the campaigns, we've got the Share Wisely campaign is our main campaign past year. Effectively to where people think about how they share. So do you want to share your box of chocolates, or would you prefer to keep it for yourself or your bag of chocolates, pouch bags, as we have out at the moment. These campaigns can be quite significant. So you'd be looking at where we would have events that people attend, and then we use the PR from that to advertise, because at the end of the day we're a relatively small company up against some giants such as Lindt.
And Eoin, over the past 4 years, significant changes have occurred with the ownership structure of Lily OBriens. Firstly, in 2014, Carlisle Cardinal Ireland acquired a majority stake in the business. But how has this investment benefited the company?
What I would say is it gave us quite a bit of focus. The company was quite good before Carlisle Cardinal came along, but effectively it gave us the focus on that there are many things that we could do, but that you get the best bang for buck going certain ways. So that would have been the main benefit that we saw. But they also brought other things in, like non-executive director, which we wouldn't have had previously, which was a bit of a door opener and a sounding board for us on long-term strategy. We had a very successful time with Carlisle Cardinal, and I think all parties were very happy with the relationship. Even though it was only a 4-year relationship.
Now then, last year, Lily OBriens was acquired by the Polish food producer company, Carlisle Holding. What can you tell us about this company and their plans for Lily OBriens?
Carlisle were very interested in Lily OBriens, particularly when they saw what we have done over the past 10 years. Effectively, Carlisle have soft drinks business, they have various different wafer business and some chocolate business, and indeed logistics. So they are well used to the categories that we work in, and the big difference I think for us is we were a premium chocolate brand, a space that they weren't in, and we were also a significant exporter and very successful in the UK market, which is the key market. So what did Carlisle bring to the party once they invested? They gave us permission to spend the above-the-line marketing funds to grow the brand. So they very much believe in the brand and in brands in general. So the idea that Lily OBriens as a premium brand should be investing to grow for the long term. They also would be looking at investment in equipment, so that as we look to double our business, which is what we expect to do over the next 5 to 6 years, that we will have the equipment to be able to produce what is necessary to meet the demand. So very, very significant plans for the future and investment backing it up.
So you have very ambitious plans, as you say, for the future to doubling the size of the business over the next 5 to 6 years. How is that going to be achieved?
A mixture of things. I suppose while people might think that they know Lily OBriens and that everyone should know Lily OBriens, if you go to the UK and you ask the question from a prompter brand awareness, by prompter I mean if someone says, have you ever heard of Lily OBriens? Half the people will say they've never heard of us. The half who say they have heard of us, half of that again have actually tasted our product. So there's huge opportunity to grow literally just by getting people to know who we are and what we are about.
Now, sometimes when a new company takes control of an existing business, there's an unavoidable period of change which can unsettle employees. How was this transition managed to ensure that minimal disruption was caused?
We were very aware that this could potentially happen, and change is always something that people will be uncertain about until things settle down. The most important thing, I think, was communication. We let people know in a timely manner, so there were no surprises for people, and they were hearing from the right people when the changes happened. Likewise, all along the way, we keep people up to date what the investment plans are, when they are happening, and most importantly of all, that is a growth plan, so that it's a positive for all staff into the future.
And Eoin, how exposed is Lily OBriens to Brexit?
Well, as I said earlier, about half our business is in the UK, so it's a very significant market for us. What we have done is try to mitigate that as much as possible through natural hedging, and that was done through various different ways, including, for instance, refinancing, so that our loans, our business loans, were in sterling, so to give us a natural hedge. We've always forward contracted, so that was in place anyway. And then what we've looked to do is make sure that we are well placed in terms of the opportunities that even Brexit will bring. We're probably fortunate in that we're in a category where most of our competitors are outside of the UK, and we're probably fortunate as well in that our tariff codes, if it did come to a hard Brexit, are very manageable from a UK point of view. So effectively we've done as much as it's possible to do, but the uncertainty is probably the most difficult thing as it stands here still at the moment, because here we are only a couple of weeks out and we still don't know which way it's actually going to go.
Now, lots of business owners are considering appointing influencers to represent their brands across the country currently. Now, you have a business that has a lot of experience in that particular space. So what advice have you got for anyone listening to this morning's show that's in business that would like to engage with an influencer? How should they go about it?
What I would say is you want an influencer that has the same brand ideas as yourselves, and the same values as the business. You need to take into account the positives and negatives that can come with an influencer. It's all great when it's positive news stories, not so good if they're negative. But if you've got the right influencer, you should be in a very good place all the way along. The key thing is that you get on with them and that they get on with you.
And for any business owner that's in the food business today that wants to enter the export market, how would you advise them?
In all cases, I'd say export is a great thing to do, but where are you going to export to? You have to make your choices. You can't focus on everything. That's not focus at all. So you have to choose where the opportunities are, and everything that you'd expect to have to do in terms of doing your homework, in terms of the legislation, the declarations, the paperwork that has to be done, the competitors in that market, and the route to market, how you'll actually get there. All of that has to be done. What we've done in the past on that, Carl, is we've looked at it, and we've compared different markets and different channels, and then prioritised them based on the return you can get, the ease of a return, and the probability of success, and then you choose the best one to go for.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Eoin Donnelly, the CEO of Lily OBriens, and we wish the company continued success with its growth plans. We're almost at closing time here now at Business Matters, but before we go, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my production team, my guests for their contribution, and especially you as always for listening. Join me again next Saturday morning when we'll have more from the world of business. But until then, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.